key aspect of what we're trying to do is how do we prepare what are essentially ambassadors for the new economy. So you could passively participate in the new economy that Harper wants us to participate in, or whoever is the next Prime Minister, or Trudeau wants us to participate in, or we could actually create it. The problem is that we haven't been given the skills to create it in school. So if someone asked you what city suited you, if you said they're a project school that co-create urban sustainability projects on the ground with city staff, that kind of describes the beginning and the end of it. These groups don't talk to each other, and in doing so they leave a huge space in the middle. And that was the space that Janet and I identified as this potent place that nothing's happening. It's almost like someone forgot there was most of the world was in the middle of these two institutions and no one wanted to go there, or didn't think it was available. So that was the story we told at the City Hall and the Dragon Stand, and I think it really resonated with them. You're right, cities and universities never talk. I've been teaching at universities for 18 years, and I've assistant dean at Emily Carr, academic advisor, and co-teaching with Janet, which is mentorship intensive. And we started to hear the same thing over and over and over again in student meetings, individual student meetings. I want to earn a living and I want to save the planet, and I'm not learning how to do it on my school, and I'm freaking out. Actually, the key aspect of what we're trying to do is how do we prepare what are essentially ambassadors for the new economy? Because all of you will spend your entire careers building and working in the new economy. And you may not think of it that way or call it that, but we all know that's what's going to happen. So you could passively participate in the new economy that Harper wants us to participate in, or whoever is the next Prime Minister, or Trudeau wants us to participate in, or we could actually create it. The problem is that we haven't been given the skills to create it in school. And so one of the contexts we're working within is that, you know, this is the sad reality of our current relationship between education and the future, the jobs future. That you're going to graduate probably feeling unprepared for the future that's coming. You're probably going to graduate with a bit of debt. You're probably not going to get hired in your discipline for 2 to 3 years after you graduate. So there's this lag that you're going to find other work, which is devastating because you actually end up moving your career in that direction in 3 years often. And in those 3 years, if you haven't moved on, you may get hired, but they won't hire you for the skills of your discipline. You'll get hired for character. What is character? Adaptability, flexibility, initiative, learning how to work with diverse groups, collaboration skills, how to develop a budget around an idea that you created. How to reach out and build relationships to develop shared goals. You can't sign up for any of these courses in school. And yet we find this is what you need. Every employer, every management team that we've talked to, and based on the data that's coming from the States, we don't have this kind of detailed data in Canada yet, shows that this is what every employer in these states is looking for. You need to be a project-based mind who can develop initiative and go forward, work on a team. And so our work is very laser-like aimed towards these goals. These aren't going away. At our core, we are a project school. And the project school aims to mobilize our students outside of using their disciplines, but outside of their lecture hall, into the city to co-create projects that staff need done, that the city has asked for, to co-create these projects on the ground. So if someone asked you what city suited you, if you said they're a project school that co-create urban sustainability projects on the ground with city staff, that kind of describes the beginning and the end of it. This has a couple of key components to it. what is a project? A project is something that the city wants done, that has dedicated staff, that has a budget associated with it, and that the community wants. And that our involvement with it adds value to the city by getting it going on the ground and creating a stewardship plan so that after the students leave, the project rolls forward. I'll just talk a little bit about the kind of projects that we're involved in. So this is a classic kind of project where we bring city staff in this kind of mode, and we ask city staff, what do you need help with? What's on the side of your desk? What are you working on that you don't have time or energy for? And they'll say things like, well, we want to get more people biking, and then we begin the discussion of how do you want that to happen. This project emerged because students, in conversation with active transportation staff, a lead on active transportation, said, here's what he said, this is a quote, "I totally forgot that we have a repair station in storage. Then I'm supposed to get it all going on the ground, but it's fallen off my desk because other important things have arose." So a group of students said, we'll do it. We'll get that bike lab on the ground in the city. And so over the last 4 months, they got two actually. They got one that was purchased and another one that was donated. They put them in the ground in the public realm in Science World and in Woodward's, and we're now in our beta test, where we're evaluating the process. Does the city need them? Do we want them? Is it reasonable? Are they valuable? And the goal is to figure out how to innovate with stuff that the city wants done, but they don't have time for. So you can imagine, you get a budget, each group gets $4,000 in this case. They have to have an accountant, they have to have a project manager, they have to have primary contacts, they have to have comms teams and designers, and we mentor them through this process of projects on the ground. And for that, they get 15 credits. And then when the course ends, the work doesn't end because I'm still contacting these people about tools get cut off, someone cut the tools off, so we have that. Bike Lab Bandit has struck, I tweet Bike Lab Bandit has struck, and students go into action and they repair the tools or they get them repaired.
This project just keeps going.
Yeah, this is
the calls I get about this project.
It's the project that'll never end. But the goal is to have them all over the city. So now we get to say with the city, wow, we co-created a project like this on the ground, and it's beta testing for more and more and more. And this is a really good example. We work in parks. There's one behind you which is unfortunately delaminated because our work study student didn't have glue on the poster, but we'll fix that. But that was a piano in parks project, where we thought Vancouver wants pianos in parks. How do you do it? And it turns out it's much harder than you think. There's free pianos all over Craigslist, but how do you move them? Who pays for it? Who takes care of them? How do you waterproof them? How do you take care of them? How do you throw events around them so that they're meaningful? And then there's one other project maybe we could talk about, and that's a project called the Long Table, which was a project designed and built by students who didn't want to work on any of the Green City goals. They wanted to work on all of them at the same time. So we actually encouraged ambition, and we thought, you can do it. Tell us how you're going to do it. So they conspired to create this long table that was built out of a tree that fell in a park and that was going to get chopped up. But the tree was given to them, they milled it, they dried it, and they built a 30-foot table that now travels around the city and hosts dialogues around how communities can engage in the city. So they became general contractors, furniture builders, and now they're program managers. Mm-hmm. And they're on calls. If someone wants the table, they have to get out of bed, get the truck, get the table, take it down, assemble it, bring it back.
That's
still happening. So this is a good example.